The Jacks are back for another week of the Jacks podcast. Week 10 in the college football season, episode 11 for us. Recapping week 9. Last week, we had a rough week as far as the card picks, the games that we highlight and talk about. Uh, Rough week for that. Jack won his lock. I missed my lock. Lost my dog by an inch with Chapel Bill. They fell short in overtime, going for two in the first overtime to win the game, and missed by an inch. Like I said last week, I am straight for big time dogs now for the rest of the season. I haven't hit one. I'm like 0-9, so we're going plus 300 or better on the dogs.
Yeah, it was a great week. Vandy has been pretty much my only bright spot I can look at the last few weeks. Locktober treated me well. Went 4-0 in locks in October, so hopefully can keep that going. But besides that, not a lot to be proud about. And I think I can speak for both of us. We've been hearing it from some people, rightfully so. We got to be better. We're trying our best. It's not a lack of effort. I'll put it that way. But man, it's been
Well,
tough
the
picking.
the thing is it's real tough to pick the 6 or 7 best games of the week. But when it comes to our locks, that's what the lock is. What we really truly believe, and like we're picking one way on the games because we think it's fun, and I think it's great for the show. But the lock is where we really feel confident and where we really like it. And I think as a collective, we are what 10
11,
losses and 11
ele-
wins.
11 and 9 is what we are.
11-9. Okay.
So
So yeah,
probably
I mean,
profitable, like barely there if you were just
yeah.
riding both of our locks. So
And
we
like you
we
said, Vandy's been a wagon for the last 2 weeks.
yeah, I was like I'm putting them back on my back, and it wasn't pretty for those who watched that game. It was like 3-3 at halftime. Missouri's QB got hurt in what looked like a pretty serious injury, unfortunately. But and then the Hail Mary at the end of that game that gets caught down on the one. I mean, the way our week was going, I'm surprised that ball didn't sneak in, lose it.
Yeah.
Vandy wins by 2, doesn't cover the 2.5, but it is a fun week. I mean, my dog, keeping on that, I go with LSU last week, and their coach gets fired 24 hours later. So, what do you think about that?
Uh, that when they lost that game in the fashion that they lost that game, I was like, Kelly's probably gone tomorrow. And then Sunday came and time went on and time went on, and it didn't happen until about late, kind of early afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock. You start really hearing the rumors that he might be gone. It sounded like they were going to have a team meeting, notify the players, and then do it. And then obviously 5 and 6 o'clock rolls around, and you see Brian Kelly going in and out of the facilities. Uh, you saw it coming. The writing was on the wall. It was never really a good fit, but like we said, the fallen coaches is just going to continue. I mean, there's so many jobs open now, and there's so many coaches on the market, so it's a domino effect, and we're going to see a lot more of it. I think for the rest of the season. I mean, the firing mid-season though is kind of what's been so shocking as far as this year. What do you think about that? Like, do you believe in firing mid-season, or do you believe in waiting until the end of the year?
I used to always be a wait till the end of the year guy, especially in college with the transfer portal rule. But the more and more I've thought about it, the more I understand because when you fire a coach with the portal anymore, you're probably going to lose 80% of your team, let's say. And at least the next guy in, if you hire him early enough, he'll be able to get in and fully rebuild the coaching staff and everything before he has to rebuild the roster, which I think is a huge advantage. So I would think that's probably some of the reasoning behind it. But a thing that's interesting to me about these buyouts is yes, the buyouts are absolutely massive, but imagine being this athletic director having to go to these big time boosters and saying, hey, we need $50 million to buy out our coach. Also, we need another 20 million to pay our roster next year. So these
And we
boosters,
got to hire a new coach.
Exactly. And there's another 15, 20 million a year, however much they're getting paid. That might be a little high for some places, but a lot of money getting thrown around. There's no better job on this planet Earth than being a fired Power Four college football coach.
I saw the picture of him sitting at, I think they
Yeah.
call it Superior, and it's
Yeah.
supposed to be a really good place. I don't know how we didn't go there when we were down there, but the meme was Brian Kelly didn't even look at the price of the large queso. He just ordered the large queso.
I mean, like you said, I think we all kind of saw it from the start when he was down doing his introduction to being the head coach at LSU, and he was kind of doing the fake accent, pretending like he was a Louisianan. One of the funnier things that I saw, and it actually came out today as of Wednesday, Jeff Landry, the Louisiana governor, ripped into the athletic director for LSU. Scott Woodward is the athletic director's name, talking about the Brian Kelly hire. One of the main things that he pointed out that was very interesting is the athletic director and Brian Kelly have the same agent. So is that not a little bit of a conflict of interest there? And the athletic director pretty much wrapped up and said, or the governor wrapped up and said the athletic director is not making the next hire. I think he even mentioned that we'd rather have Donald Trump make the next hire instead of our athletic director, which is about the worst thing you could hear for an athletic director, that they're taking that power away from you.
Well, that's funny you say that because I remember that in basketball last year, and I don't remember if it was a pro team. I think maybe it was a UConn, or I don't know if it was a pro team or what. But the head coach and the player, they have the same agent. It's like that's wild. It's a weird thing to think of, but it is modern day sports. Like it's just how it goes.
What a win-win for an agent. If your guy sucks and gets fired, you get a big chunk of the huge buyout. If he does great and gets an extension, you get a chunk of that too. So we might have to start getting into that world a little bit.
Well, and that's coaches going down. I asked you it last week. Well, it almost like it might be a segment of the show moving forward, and that's best jobs in America. What do you think now that you got all these? I mean, you got LSU opened up. How does that rank into the Power Five?
I think LSU is a clear cut number one. I think you could almost make an argument that LSU is number one, regardless if the job's open or not. I don't know if it's quite there, but it's easily in the top five in my opinion. So I put LSU head and shoulders above a Florida, above a Penn State. If I don't know who they're going to go after, personally, I would love to see Kiffin, but it's going to be a splash hire. They're going to go with a big name. They're that kind of school. They might even pull down from the NFL. They could go anywhere with it.
Yeah, I agree. That's the best job. Uh, Feels like we'll be talking about it all week or every week. Is
Yeah.
the best jobs because more and more are coming.
I mean, who's next? Who's next? Do we have any predictions? If Auburn loses to Kentucky, is Freeze
I
gone?
I think Freeze is up there on my number one.
Yeah.
That could be a wait till the end of the year thing, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably not going to make a bowl game, so your season kind of is just over around Thanksgiving. So you still have your hiring period that
Yeah.
you want. Well, I got a question here from you, and this is our last podcast without an official college football playoff ranking. So the time we talk next week, we're going to have rankings. I think we said we are going to do a little bit of our own rankings before the poll comes out and kind of compare it to see what the committee has to say. But if you had all the control in the world, if you were the president of the NCAA, whoever controls the playoff, what would you change about the playoff compared to what it is right now?
Um, I would probably uh I don't know. It's tough because nothing really ever makes everyone happy. There's always going to be somebody that gets left out. I do the number one thing I would change, and it's not really much of, with the formatting of the 12 teams and the buys and all that. Let's let's do the bowl games with something else. We'll figure out something to do with the bowl games, and let's put these games on campus. I think everybody wants to see it. Last year it was electric. The national championship, sure, we can go. We can do a bowl game for that. We'll keep that the same and neutral site it. But the playoffs being at home on campus for these teams in the I mean, for the university, for the athletic program, everything, it is awesome. And like we got to see it last year, college game day being at like 3 o'clock on a Friday when Notre Dame played at home Indiana playoff game. And they're some of the most electric environments of the entire season. So that would be the number one thing I would say change is probably make more on campus home games for these teams. But the formatting I think is good. Like 12 is it's tough to get higher than 12 because then these teams start playing 17, 18, 19 games. It's not really that it's not like NFL where you have a little bit of depth because they're all professionals. These next kids up are like walk-ons that like kids that weren't even maybe going to make the team, and when you start getting really, it's just hard on the kids with a lot of weeks, a lot of hitting. You've got your studs out there playing the whole game, so it's tough to get any bigger than 12. And I do like the bye format, uh, so I wouldn't change much with that.
Yeah, no, I kind of had the same exact thought. The one thing I would change is just more home games. I would love to see the national championship too, just honestly be the Rose Bowl. It feels like it's the perfect setting for college football at the end of the year. And maybe I remember last year it felt like the season went really late. I would like to see if they can move it up a little bit where that national championship is around New Year's. I feel like that's kind of college football's big day. Make it your day and don't have it be. I mean, the second round or whenever it was last year on New Year's was awesome, but that season just
Well,
kept going, kept going, kept going.
that's the talk is you have Army Navy week, and that's kind of why that shit happens because
Yeah.
Army Navy week takes up a whole week. I don't know what you do with it. It's like, can we not have Army Navy week at the beginning of the year, like, and then
Week zero.
screw everything
Just have
up?
that for
Like,
the week zero game.
yeah, I don't hate that idea at all because finishing January 1, New Year's Eve, it just feels right.
Yeah, it does. Something about it. Something about New Year's
Yeah.
and college football. They're like a match made in heaven.
uh, another, I mean, tried to think of a couple questions coming in here of things to ask you, and I really didn't come up with too much. So I have something kind of random, kind of fun for you to talk about, and I'll give my pick too. If you could invite one celebrity onto the Pocket Jacks podcast to talk about football, have them make their picks, do whatever, kind of like the college game day picker, who are you picking and why?
I mean, I got two options pumped right to the top of my head. One, my guy Josh Allen, biggest Bills fan there is out here. I love
All
him. I
right.
also think a Coug, Gardner Minshew would just be a banger on the pod. Imagine
All
him
right.
bringing the juice with the stash. I think we'd have to go fake stashes for the week. Let's get Minshew on the pod. Gardner, if you're listening, come on. You free Wednesday evenings? We got a spot for you.
I love it. I love it.
What about
My
you?
guy is I didn't think of I guess I could probably think of Notre Dame alum. I'd probably go Brady Quinn. He would probably be up there, and then the guy who I just wanted just because I love him and I like talking football. He's the first guy that pops to my brain, and that's John Gruden because he would be electric. I don't know. I think he's pretty involved with everything football, so he's probably got some college. He knows guys in college. But he's just a football dude. He's awesome.
I love that. Is the other guy we were talking about is that many people might not know him, but he does the TikToks of the script writing. Biggie. I'm gonna fire a DM off to him, see if he wants to come on college football content.
Get him on. Bring him on. We need more guests, so hit us up. We need more
Yeah,
guests. We need to talk. Come on. We can talk about your favorite team. You can give us some lock dog parlay. Help us win a parlay, being the third leg.
yeah,
Uh, we need more guests.
yeah. All right, the next question I had for you here is I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's more of just like a discussion than a question. But I'm looking at the playoff, another playoff question here, and I'm thinking about the teams that are in conference championships, and Georgia Tech is the perfect example for me here. Should a team who is playing in a conference championship be punished for losing that game? Like, should teams who are not playing jump teams that lose in the conference championship. The reason I thought about that was Georgia Tech is probably going to run the table in the ACC, probably going to lose to Georgia. And then if they lose to Miami, it's like, are you really dogging them down because they lost to a non-conference game and then lose to Miami in the conference championship while a bunch of teams aren't playing? I, I
I
know
love
I
it because this is exactly what I say is wrong with the college football playoff. And all these teams, that's what the example I talked about the other day with my dad is let's skip Miami to lose another regular season game. So they have two losses, right? But then they make the ACC championship and then lose in the ACC championship. You got losses. See you later. Like
right.
that is just how it goes. And the playoff committee is they have to decide because it's almost at this point you would rather if you're 10-2, you would almost rather not make the conference championship and not play in a conference championship because then you're 10-2. You're like, well, we're probably in.
Yeah, no,
But
it
and that's
totally.
probably what's going to happen in the ACC. You're going to have, I mean, ACC, you probably get four, and you probably just get the conference champ, the runner up, and then maybe two teams that didn't make the conference championship, and that's where it works in their favor. They're probably good, but some of these other conferences, the ACC, for example, if Miami loses 3 games, I don't know if they get in.
Yeah.
If they lose in the conference championship and get booted, I seriously don't know if they get in. I wouldn't get them in. 3 losses? That's ridiculous. But yeah, you're getting punished for playing in a conference championship nowadays. And the Notre
Yeah.
Dame's got it right. We're gonna go 10-2, not have to play a conference championship and get in.
Yeah, I look at like Tennessee, I think is kind of a team that I think could really benefit from this if they I think they're do they have 2 losses right now? They have
I think they have one right now, right?
they lost to
Georgia.
Georgia. Oh, they lost to Bama as well. So they have 2 losses. But let's say they run the table and they're 10-2. They're not going to make the SEC championship, but they're kind of just probably around that 11 to 13 range. And someone like Georgia Tech, I feel like Georgia Tech's going to get the tough end of the stick on this whole thing. They played Georgia that last week, and then Miami in the conference championship. It's just setting up for ACC versus SEC. What do you like, sort of thing.
Yeah, I definitely could see Georgia Tech getting the tough end of the stick, but they, man, they still got to make it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they got a battle this week with NC State on the road. I know NC State's not good, but it's a tough conference game still. The other day.
Yeah, no, those conference road games, it doesn't, I mean, there's a few teams, it doesn't matter if you're playing them, but playing a 5-3 Wake Forest on the road is not an easy game. I don't care what conference you're in.
Yeah. Well, do you have any more questions, or do you want to get into previewing this next week?
Yeah, let's jump into the next week. I'm seeing if I have anything. Yeah, I'm ready to go into the next week. Let's do it.
All right, sweet. We've got 6 games this week. We tried to pick the best 6. There's not. I mean, there's 3 that jump out at you, and then there's probably anywhere from 3 to 8 that are around the same kind of deal. Let's see. We've got a few in the Big 12, couple SEC games, 3 SEC games, 2 Big 12 games, and a Big 10 game. We can start it off with the Big 10 game just being its solo by itself, and that is a game that has not been looked at as highly as it was early in the season when Penn State was ranked heavily, very high. Penn State going on the road to Ohio State to play in the shoe. Ohio State laying 20.5, I believe now. It was 21.5 to open, has moved down a point. Over under 43.5, and Penn State plus 900 on the money line. Ohio State leads the series 25-14 and has won the last 8. Jack, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, before I dive too deep into this game, I kind of liked what you said about this game maybe not being as highly anticipated as we first thought. It's kind of the story of the entire week. I saw a tweet that in the preseason rankings, we had 7 ranked unranked matchups on this week, being Penn State, Ohio State, Miami, SMU, ASU, Iowa State, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Georgia, Florida. And now
Yeah.
I think only one of those is a ranked on ranked matchup. So this is still going to be a fun game. I really like Ohio State here. I'm looking at Penn State's backup after Drew Aller got hurt. Grunkemeyer is his name, and he was 15 for 28 and 2 picks against Iowa on the road. Iowa's a very respectable defense. Now Ohio State's the best defense, and you're on the road. I already booked this at 20 and a half. I wanted to get it below 21. Ohio State's been a monster against the spread too. Their only loss against the spread was to Ohio, and it was by half a point. So there's probably a lot of people out there that got it at a better number. Give me the Buckeyes minus 20 and a half. Keep rolling through the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's a good angle at it. Ohio State's defense is probably the best in the country at this point. It's tough to argue with. They have a dude named Arvell Reese. I believe he's number 8 linebacker. I think he's the best linebacker I think he's the best defensive player in the country. And maybe people don't agree with that. Maybe Caleb Downs, the safety on Ohio State, is got like 1-2 best in the country. Saying looks good. He's flying under the radar, finding his groove, not really being talked about too much. But I don't know where I'm going to go with this game. It's a low total. So I don't love going to props, but I also just don't love going with any like the spread on this game. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to try and dig for something and put it out later. But I was just wondering before we move on from this game, Jack, is Ohio State, let's see, is Ohio State in your eyes better this year than they are last year?
I don't know. It's a tough one. I kind of think they might be. It seems like the quarterback's got a higher ceiling. I think you could at least say he's definitely more inexperienced. But they, like you just said, they have probably the best player in the country on offense with Jeremiah Smith. He's only gotten better from last year. And the defense, as great as it was last year, looks even better this year. So I would like to see the spread on that game. 2024 Ohio State versus 2025 Ohio State. I think it would be close to a pick.
Yeah, I don't know if they're quite there yet. Like we talked about it earlier in the week, and is Ohio State just going to roll through everybody? I don't know.
Yeah.
I do think if Ohio State rolls through everybody and they start facing a little bit of adversity, maybe in the playoffs down the stretch, that could rattle them and it could bite them in the ass. Just with a very young quarterback, it's not Joe Burrow where he's a veteran and he's rolling through everybody all season. It's not a problem. They win with ease. This is a younger quarterback than a vet Joe Burrow, and he's no Joe Burrow. But just an example of them being older versus younger. We'll see. We'll see if they're that for real. They haven't really played anybody yet, so I don't know. I'll put a pick out later, but for now it'll probably be something proppy.
It's hard too because it's not like they just scheduled fluff. Like they went out, we're going to play Texas. And then this Penn State game was supposed to be a banger. And it's kind of just, I mean, you could say the cards have fallen in the right way for them or the wrong way, depending on how you look at it. It seems the Michigan game is going to be very interesting because if they don't beat Michigan again.
Oh, gosh, that would be awesome.
Michigan's definitely better than they were last year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Michigan's better. They're only going to get better, it feels like, for these next couple of years. Underwood's only going to get better. They're going to be, I don't know. I'm not going to say that they're going to win a national championship or anything, but they're going to be better every year for the next few. Let's see. We want to move on. Let's go Big 12 here. We've got 2 Big 12 to talk about. Let's start it off with a ranked matchup, and then we'll go to the unranked matchup, and that is number 17 Cincinnati going on the road to take on number 24 Utah in Rice-Eccles at night. Total of 55.5. Utah laying 10.5, I believe now, but I think it opened up at 7.5 or 8.5. I don't know. It was 8.5 this morning. I looked later in the afternoon. It had moved 2 points to 10.5. And Cincinnati catching plus 260 on the money line. These teams have never played each other. So let's what do you think on this one, Jack? This is a ranked matchup, Big 12 at night at elevation, if that matters to you. Uh, what do you like?
Yeah, this game just screams holy freaking trap line. This being 10 points. I mean, Cincinnati is undefeated in the Big 12s, look pretty solid, and Utah has lost to Texas Tech big, and they lost to BYU in a semi-close game there. I think it was a one-score game by the end of it. So this line is just mushing my brain. I'm kind of leaning Cincinnati just because I really like Sorsby. I like the way he plays. He was the backup at Indiana last year, transferred to Cincinnati, and he has looked good. Nobody was on Cincinnati coming into the year, and their only loss was that close loss week one to Nebraska in a neutral site, even though it was 90% Nebraska fans at the Chiefs Stadium there. I haven't booked anything because I might take the trap and go Utah. Well, I guess the trap is taking Cincinnati, but I might try to go around it and take Utah just because I saw it so many years in the Pac-12 where Utah at night is just a whole different animal. But man, I don't know. I'm leaning Cincinnati right now if I can get it at 10.5, just because I have a tough time seeing this being more than a double digit game.
Yeah, and that's how I am. Is like 10.5 is a lot. If it goes back down to 8.5, I kind of like Utah. I'm kind of going to sit on it. It is a high total, so I also do like props in this game. You can always find like an anytime touchdown scorer with a total that high. But I'll give a play. That's kind of another one where I'm going to sit on it for a bit, think about it, maybe try and dig in a little deeper and see what I can find.
Did you see what Utah did to Colorado last week?
Yeah,
It
41 or 53-7.
Yeah, 43-0 halftime. I think Utah had 350 yards in the first half and Colorado had -3. It was an all-time ass whooping, and I'm just like, Utah at night. I can't get that out of my head. But then I've also gotten smacked on Utah twice this year when we've talked about them in both Texas Tech and BYU. Vegas loves Utah.
Yeah, it's a weird team. Like, I don't know. It feels like they can show up in some weeks and just really not against other opponents. We'll see.
Tough.
I like we said, we'll put a pick out for it. We'll dig into it, see how that line moves. It's just a very high number at the moment. So
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good.
next Big 12 game we got here, ASU, the Sun Devils taking on Iowa State in Ames at Jack Trice Stadium. Iowa State laying 7.5 here, over under 48.5. ASU won the first matchup last year between these two, and it was in the Big Ten championship, I think. ASU won by about 30, so there is a revenge factor there from winning a very big game as far as playoff implications. What do you think, Jack? I've got a couple things to say here, but if you want to go first, I'll let you again.
Yeah, ASU's been probably the most hit or miss team in the country this year. They beat Texas Tech one week, they get whooped by Utah one week. Houston beats them last week. Houston kind of a sleeper in the Big 12. We haven't talked about them much. Sounds like Levitt's going to be out this game, and I don't know if there's too many other teams where the drop off from the starter to the backup is wider. We watched that game when we were down in Baton Rouge when Sims is playing, Jeff Sims, I believe, for Arizona State, and they could barely even
Yep.
move the ball against Utah. Is when he was out. He was out a little bit last week. Tyson, the receiver, is banged up. I kind of think with the way the Big 12 championship went last year that it sticks in Iowa State's mouth a little bit. Like they were right there for the playoff. If they won that game, they would have been in it. So I like Iowa State here at home, even though they've definitely been reeling the last month or so. They are not playing as well as they were when we were kind of high on them to start, or at least I was high on them to start the year after beating Iowa and Kansas State. So give me Iowa State here, -7.5. I still haven't booked it. I'd love to get it at 7, but I just don't see it floating that way with the potential injury with Levitt.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like you said, Iowa State coming off a loss to BYU. Have had some tough sledding lately, uh,
It's
but
been
the number is saying Iowa State. They burned me last. They honestly could have won that game. The punt that hit their guy as a receiver in the foot, and then just it changed the whole complexion of the game. They threw a pick six right after that. It was a lot closer than the score showed. Um, the numbers saying Iowa State, they're coming off a loss. They're at home. I was the same way. I don't think Levitt's playing here at all. And then you have the revenge factor from last year. I honestly love 7.5. Like you said, it's not moving down. So 7.5, let's say before it moves up higher.
Yeah,
Iowa
definitely,
State.
definitely two teams that have disappointed a little bit in the Big 12. I think we both thought these teams were going to have legitimate shots at making the college football playoff, and maybe Iowa State can still sneak into the Big 12 championship. I doubt it though. I think they were hoping their season was going to have a little bit more life coming into this game. Preseason was one of those rank v rank matchups. Now it's an unranked versus unranked. So both teams are kind of in the same boat with the way their season's been going.
Yeah, I mean, a win last week against BYU would have been great.
Let's do this one for your boy Jack Trice himself. What a story. Bringing that back to an earlier week on the pod.
Exactly. Iowa
Give me a little
State.
refresher on that. Give me a little refresher on that story. Do you remember? Like
Oh
he
yeah, I remember. I remember. So Jack Trice, I actually had to fact check myself last week because I got him mixed up between Iowa and Iowa State. Jack Trice, believe maybe the first African American player in Iowa State school history. Could be wrong on that, but one of the first. They go up to Minnesota, play the Gophers. He sustains injuries throughout the game. Cheap shot, he's getting beat up throughout the game. He ends up having to stay in a hotel prior to the game, separate from the team because of his skin color. Get back to Ames. Those injuries that during the game were apparently life threatening. He ends up dying, passing away, and they build a stadium after him in Ames, Iowa, and it's been there for 50 years, I believe. So it's a great stadium. They will be rowdy for this place, but yeah, good little history on that stadium there.
one of my favorite stories from the year. That's you
It's
learn something
great.
new every day.
Yeah, yeah, we learned something new with this podcast. It's a good time. we're we're no book nerds, but when it comes to football and the history of some of these stadiums and game matchups is it's pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
uh, let's see, we've got three SEC matchups to finish off the card here. Couple ranked ones. We'll start with the one that has one ranked team. We'll move into the other two that have four in total ranked teams. And let's go down to Florida in Gainesville. Georgia is coming to town, number 5, laying 7.5, just like Iowa State, with a total of 50.5. Florida plus 240 on the money line. Georgia leads the series 56-44 with 2 ties and has won the last 4. Florida, obviously coming off the news of firing their coach. They are also coming off a bye with 2 weeks to prepare. Uh, I did a little bit of research on this new coach coming in to replace Billy Napier, and it is another Billy. That's Billy Gonzalez. He played Colorado State as a wide receiver up until 1994, then gets into coaching, bounces around to a couple teams. But one thing to really note is that from 2005, 2009, he was with Florida with Urban Meyer back in all of the
Heyday.
murders. I don't know. They had Bible thumping Tim Tebow, and surrounding him, they had fucking murderers and killers and drug dealers and Jesus. They had
Racist.
about everything you could possibly imagine. The melting pot of a team. But shit, they won a they won a national championship for Christ's sake. Um, so I'm excited for this new guy. I mean, they've had 2 weeks to prep with him. Him coming in after Billy Napier gets fired off of a win might be something to note. And I think the only reason they did that is because they knew they had this bye. They had 2 weeks to prepare. They knew they were going to fire him eventually. So let's do it before the bye and let's turn things around. I I I don't hate the method to the madness there at all. And then I don't know. This Georgia defense is not really that good. Like this is a massive game for Florida. This is their Super Bowl. Their season's not really going that well, but what if they beat Georgia and they've got them at home? I like Florida plus 7.5 here. I don't really know. It's just a lot of points to be laying in an SEC matchup, and maybe Billy Gonzalez can give these Gators a little something to rally around for the second half of the year here.
Yeah, I like it. One thing about this game, it's a neutral spot. This is games always played in Jacksonville. It's a weird game that they do that there. I don't know if it's like a halfway. One of my favorite rivalry names, though, world's largest outdoor cocktail party is what the rivalry is called.
I
Great,
saw this. I
great.
saw this. So, and they got Gator juice, and they got what? Uh, there's two drinks. I don't know what they call Georgia's, but they got Gator juice, and it must just be dog juice. And sounds like it's just a bunch of jungle juice, right?
Just your old's got a bunch of fruit in there to make it look all sweet. It's just
Yeah.
90% vodka.
Yeah. So this is in Jacksonville. Is that what you said?
Yep, they always play this.
Okay.
They've at least recently always played this one. I think they played in the Jaguars Stadium. It must be like a perfect halfway point between the two schools.
Yeah. Thanks for correcting me because I was under the impression it was in Gainesville, but that after hearing about the world's biggest cocktail party, I earlier today I thought that it might have been at a neutral site.
I also this game, I think we need a Florida Georgia Line concert at the game halftime show. Just makes sense. Like, come on, Florida Georgia Line, what are you playing for? Um, one thing I saw in this game, and it's funny that you brought up Urban Meyer and the crazy team that he had. In 2007, Georgia and Florida played, and they call it the Gator Stomp. Georgia takes the opening drive, goes down the field, and No. Sean Moreno scores a touchdown. They planned this pregame. The entire team came off the sideline into the end zone and celebrated. All 100 guys, everybody, a million flags, obviously. But it was kind of just that is that mental warfare, ref's dream, just launch that thing into the air and just nothing about it. But they planned it. It was good old Mark Rick days versus Urban Meyer. A little different now with Kirby and Mr. Gonzalez, as you said. I didn't look that up. But Lagway's still
I like
playing.
it. People ought to do that more often. Get the boys rallied up. First score of the game. Get them out there. Who cares about the 15? We'll kick it farther, but it's all right. No big deal. Let's get the boys going early.
Set the tone. Set the tone, babe. I
I
love that
love
it was
it.
first drive too. It's fresh out of the locker room. You know they scripted that in practice. There was no accident, something like that. Go look up the play. If
But
anybody listening hasn't seen it, it's hilarious.
the kid that's been riding the pine for the last 4 years, he's never in the field. He's like, let's go. It's time.
He's like, I finally got my name called, like that one kid on Georgia last year in the Notre Dame game that got the flag for running into the ref. He's like, boom, in the stat book, baby. I'm an official member of Georgia. But anyways, I looked it up and it seems like DJ Lagway's still playing, even though Napier's gone, and he could portal, which is good for Florida. They're off the bye. And like you said, this is their Super Bowl. This is a kitchen sink. They're going to throw every trick play they have. Maybe you'll see a fake punt with the interim coach. It's just the ultimate nothing to lose game for Florida. And Georgia sure as hell has a lot to lose in this game. So I'm with you. We keep we keep doing this again. Unfortunately, because I didn't know, but I'm leaning Florida. I haven't booked it yet, but I was leaning Florida. And Georgia, every single game this year, they've gotten off to a bad start. And then they kind of turn on like the, oh, we're Georgia in the fourth quarter. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're actually really good. And we're just going to stop teams and score every drive. But that's been a recipe for a lot of close games for them. So I'm liking Florida plus the 7.5 here. Kitchen sink game, throwing everything you got at it.
I love it. I love it. Uh, and yeah, I that's a good game. That's a great game. Those people down there are gonna have such a good time. That could be one that we ought to go. I'm all in favor of world's largest cocktail party. I won't say no to a good time.
I got a bold prediction. We're gonna get a great crowd fight video out of this game. Neutral. Everybody's all liquored up. Maybe Florida gets down early or something, and they're like, Nothing to lose game. Throw a couple haymakers in the crowd.
Oh God. All right. Well, moving on to the other SEC matchups we got. Let's go to Oklahoma, Tennessee. Number 18, Oklahoma going on the road to number 14, Tennessee in Neyland. Do you know what time this kicks off?
This is the 5:30 primetime ABC slot.
So Neyland at night, it
Yep.
will be pumping over under, calling for points, 56 and a half. Tennessee laying 3.5 at home. Oklahoma leads the series 3-2, and Tennessee has the most recent win in 2024. Oklahoma coming off a 30 loss to Ole Miss at home, where the offense didn't look great. Ole Miss looked pretty good, and then Tennessee coming off a 56-34 road win against Kentucky. Offense for Oklahoma hasn't looked great. I mean, you could probably agree with that, right?
Yeah.
It's not been great. Besides Michigan, Mateer really hasn't looked good against good competition, it seems like. I know he's maybe a little banged up, but at this point, he should be. This is when they would maybe originally had him back. He should be getting there, but he just still hasn't looked great. And then to me, Tennessee's kind of been flying under the radar a little bit. They're still up there. I know they've got 2 losses, like we just talked about earlier, with Alabama and Georgia, but they're still up there, and they're still a good team. Aguilar has looked good to me. He's impressed me and kind of
Yeah.
exceeded expectations. And then the other thing here is, I know it's been a long time, but Heupel was going. He went to Oklahoma. He played quarterback at Oklahoma. He coached at Oklahoma as a co-offensive coordinator, and then they let him go in January of 2015. But this is his school, so he wants to beat them now that he's at Tennessee. They fell short of a natty when he was there, so this is, I mean, not really a revenge spot because it's been a long time, but I'm sure he wants to win this game every single time they play. And
Yeah.
I like Tennessee in this matchup here. So Tennessee, Josh Heupel, -3.5.
All right. I like it. Unfortunately, I think I'm with you again here. I saw a funny note on this one here. They're calling this game the stoppable force meets the movable object. The stoppable force being Oklahoma's offense. They've been in the SEC for 2 years, still have not scored 28 points in an SEC game
Oh my God.
ever. And Tennessee defense is giving up 40 points to anybody. So it's kind of a week on week here. And I like Tennessee. The night at Neyland plays a huge part in it for me.
Yes.
And I think Tennessee's going to score. And if they get up 2 scores, we saw it last week. Ole Miss wasn't a great defense. Oklahoma, there's just something not clicking with. I don't know if it's the scheme with Arbuckle. I watched it last year at the Cougs. It was pretty good. Mateer, I don't even know if you can necessarily blame it on the thumb. It seems like it's a little bit of decision making. He's not running as good as he was to start the year. It was a
No.
weird, wet game last week, but man, Oklahoma, they really have gone on the downhill ever since that great win against Michigan. So I went and checked and I got this at -3 today and I booked it. This and Ohio State were the 2 that I booked. I'm on Tennessee -3. I just have such a hard time picking against these teams at night at home in the SEC.
Yeah. Why? Good, good old Rocky Top. Uh, I love it. I love it here. It's 3 is a great number to get it at. And the legs thing with Mateer, he has not used his legs as good as we've seen him use his legs, and just kind of looked a little skittish and not ready to go against Ole Miss. I don't know. There was something weird about it, but maybe he's a little banged up. Maybe there's something else that we don't really know about. Uh, but Rocky Top all the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, it also feels like with Oklahoma, they really cannot run the ball. Jaden Ott has probably been one of the more disappointing transfer portal guys. He was supposed to be this great workhorse back for him. He hardly even plays. He just returns kicks. Yeah, I don't know. Oklahoma. It feels like it's all on Mateer's shoulders all the time, and when he doesn't look good, Oklahoma doesn't look good.
Yeah, and I don't hate the over here either.
Yeah.
Especially with like what you said, like Tennessee has been allowing a lot of points, and I don't know. I could see this game easily getting to 60.
Yeah, this game could go so many ways. I know I say that every week, but if it's low scoring, it favors Oklahoma. If it's high scoring, it favors Tennessee. So I have a
Yeah,
feeling if Tennessee hits, the over hits. If Oklahoma wins, the under hits.
I don't hate that take at all. Moving on to the last game of the card, sixth game. Hopefully we have a little bit of luck here. We're going back. We've talked about him 3 weeks in a row, maybe four. Number 9, Vandy going on the road this time to Texas to take on number 20 Longhorns. Texas laying 2.5 here, surprising number, and a total very low at 44.5. Vandy didn't look great on offense last week. It was kind of a low scoring, muck it up game. In Texas has kind of been the same way. So that 44.5 almost doesn't really surprise me that much. Vandy leads this series 8-4, which I was absolutely shocked. 8-4 all time against Texas with one tie. And it was 8-3 up until last year. Texas gets a victory. It was a 3-point victory. So very close game. Vandy coming off a win here. Very boring win versus Missouri. It cashed for both of us, so that was good. And then Texas coming off an overtime thriller win against Mississippi State, where we had Mississippi State plus 7.5 in the parlay. I don't know. This is a weird one to me because, well, side note, I don't know if you saw this. Arch got pulled over by Austin PD yesterday in his Denali. So
Car.
send him to Georgia. He's getting in trouble with the cops and his cars and Jesus. Uh, but just had to put that out there. Saw a picture of him pulled over. He also is in concussion protocol, it sounds like. And so this tells me that he probably plays with Texas being favored here. I still think it's really weird, even if he does play, that they're favored. I imagine he plays. That's my take. I don't think that this is official news. I don't think, I mean, from everything I've seen, he's still going through concussion protocol and has to pass it. I think he plays. And to me, this is almost like Vegas saying, if this is a neutral site, it's a pick 'em.
Yeah.
You get 2.5 here for Texas being at home. They're saying it's a pick 'em, and then with that, I like Vandy. I mean, Vandy as an underdog, even I almost like more as an underdog than I like them when they're favorited. And that's kind of all there is to it. Vandy plus 2.5. I don't know if it's the right play. It kind of scares me with this line being a little weird, but we got to keep riding with it. It feels like so. I'm sure you're the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm riding with my doors. They've been the only thing that's been keeping me alive, keeping this roof over my head the last couple of weeks with how rough everything's been. That concussion that Arch got, I don't know. I know there's not necessarily a good thing is like a big concussion versus a little concussion, but he like could barely even walk. He couldn't even sit up when it happened to him. So I'm curious. I don't know what the concussion protocol rules are like in college either. If it's just the team doctor that's like good to go, or if it's a little bit more of a professional ordeal here. The thing that does scare me about this game is this for if we were on Texas, it is the Jack and Jack system. It's the higher ranked team is playing at the shittier ranked team, and it's 2.5. It's the favorite. It's our favorite number that we look for in those. Iowa State kind of burned us last week, didn't hit there, but I have to keep riding with Vandy. I'm going to ride with Vandy until the wheels fall off. I don't care. The one thing we got to stop Vandy. Enough with the pregame victory formation, Pavia. I'm just, come on. Like,
He's
what
a
are you
dog.
doing?
He's got to practice the final play of the game.
God. I mean, just fire the other team up a little more. Why don't you? I know that's kind of who he is, and I love him for it, but that's just a crazy move, practicing victory formation. And I'm totally with you. I like Vandy more as a dog. It feels like Pavius shows up, he rises to the competition and plays great. You know they're going to have some stuff up their sleeve. Give me Vandy plus 2.5. It's probably a sucker bet, but I'm a sucker for Vandy. Go Doors.
Oh, I'm there. I agree. It's America's team at this point, and if you're not rooting for Vandy, then you're not rooting for the good guys. Uh, I love them here. There's two games that we talked about that I don't have a play out for yet, uh, but we'll figure those out. We'll get you the 6 plays. As for now, let's move into the lock dog parlay. And do you want to start us off here, Jack?
Yep. Let's keep this puppy rolling for me here on the lock. Going with an SEC game, one that we did not talk about. I'm going with the Rebs of Ole Miss, minus 12.5, night game at home against South Carolina. Feels like South Carolina kind of kitchen sinked their last game against Texas, actually, or against Alabama. Actually almost got it done. It's a great game there. I just like Ole Miss. Trinity Chambliss is a perfect college football quarterback. I love the way he plays. I love Lane Kiffin. Rebs minus 12.5.
Yeah. All right. I don't hate it. Uh, this was tough for me. I didn't have really a whole lot that I liked. There was a couple other kind of added plays that I had that I looked at. But I think my favorite play, I think it's Tennessee minus 3.
I like that.
Uh,
I considered it.
at home, Neyland at night. I just don't trust this Oklahoma team as much as I did at the beginning of the year, or as much as I did up until last week, really. Uh, I know they kind of hung around with Ole Miss, but I think it could have been a lot worse. I think Tennessee's kind of right up there with Ole Miss, and maybe not as good, but not too far off. So Tennessee minus the 3 for my lock of week 10.
I like it. Let's get back on the double winners on the locks.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Moving on to the dog here, and this is a segment that's been an absolute disaster with me. So, like I said, we are going with the script. Like I said, we're not straying off the beaten path. We're taking big dogs, and I got Rice plus like 400 on the money line. They're playing a Friday night game, I believe. Pulling it up right here. Friday night, 5 o'clock Mountain Time. They are plus. Geez, doesn't even give it to me on ESPN. It must be a big one. But I believe it's up. I think it's plus 400 something. We're
Plus
not straying
425.
off. We're not straying off the strategy. We're rocking to it. We got absolutely burned by Chapel Bill last week. Uh, so, oh God, that would have been such a big one. But yeah, we're going big. We're going big on these dogs. Rice.
Rice Owls.
Yeah, you've got Memphis coming off a short week. They kind of struggle against teams that run the triple option. I think Rice, offensive coordinator, does do a good job of drawing up some crazy plays. They run triple option, and then they run like they ran last week. They ran this crazy throwback for a touchdown. Uh, and then Memphis looking forward to Tulane next week. So coming off a short week, maybe a look ahead spot to Tulane. Tulane is also very, very good. They're going to be fighting for that G5 spot until it's all said and done. So maybe a look ahead spot here with Rice. I like them.
Yeah, I can get with that play. I mean, Fridays always cook up a little upset action, and
A little home
Memphis,
dog.
yeah, and Memphis has their win of the year against South Florida last week. Great win. Wish one of us picked that as a dog. But the week before they lose to UAB, so unbeatable. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Home dog on a Friday night has been good every single week, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, you know where I'm going. You know where I'm going.
Vandy?
And it's Vandy. I gotta keep them on this segment. I gotta keep riding their back. I'm not quitting them. Can't quit at the top. I'm gonna ride them till they burn me. And also, let's call a spade a spade. Texas barely beat Mississippi State the week before. They barely beat Kentucky, both in overtime. Vandy's way better than Mississippi State and Kentucky. So give me Pavia, rise into the moment. And also, this is a 10 a.m. game, which I kind of like for an upset for a road team. It's not the night
Yeah,
spot. So I think
absolutely.
I plus nothing crazy, plus 125, but you know I had to put the doors on the lock dog parlay. It's been my only green
Oh,
mark all year.
ride 'em till you die.
Hashtag doors closed. Starting that.
Okay, I've got a proposal for the
All right,
parlay here.
let's hear it.
Last week we went with a two-leg parlay with a spread and a money line, and the money line burned us. I'm proposing we do two spread plays.
Okay. All right. I'm
Get we
good with
want
that.
this. I like keeping this segment juicy too. I mean, the dog and the parlay. I like keeping them juicy. Let's go with either. You got to either go spread or money line underdog. How about that?
Okay. Two
I'm not
legger.
going that direction. But two-legger.
All
Do you
right.
want to go first, or do you want me to give mine?
If you got yours, you go.
Okay. I looked at a couple things. I want to go kind of off the card of what we have so far and get
Me
some
too.
added plays in there. And I looked at a couple spots. NC State, Georgia Tech is a good game. Louisville, Virginia Tech, I also kind of like an angle there. Uh, this Air Force and Army game is like almost a pick 'em, kind of a fun game. But I think where we're going to go with this, I do like them. And I think it's kind of a fun spot getting two Virginia teams in a row. Cal Bears plus 4.5,
All
taking
right.
on Virginia at home. Tough travel spot for them. One, two, they didn't look good against North Carolina last week. They're number 16 in the country, but it feels like they keep escaping. Uh, I think Cal's respectable program. They go on the road to Virginia Tech last week uh, and lose, but it's a tough travel spot. So I'm going Cal plus 4.5 for the first leg of the parlay.
All right. I like that. Virginia, like you said, they struggled against North Carolina, and the week before that, they barely beat my Cougs on a game-winning safety.
That's
So
right.
I'm gonna go. I was kind of eyeing this one earlier. Baylor minus 3.5 at home against Central Florida. Like I wanted to keep it off the card so I don't break my heart in two different spots. 10 a.m. kick. Central Florida's not good, and Baylor's got their QBs leading the country in passing yards. I'm pretty sure. So give me the Bears at home against Central Florida minus three and
What
a
is it?
half.
Minus 3.5?
Yep. I mean, if it's at minus three, obviously that'd be great. But that's what ESPN is showing right now is three and a
Perfect.
half.
Perfect. 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 So we've got Cal plus 4.5 at home against number 16 Virginia, and we've got Baylor minus 3.5 at home. Who are they taking on? Did you say?
Central UCF,
Central.
Central Florida.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. I like it.
Yeah,
I love it.
let's get a winner. I
Well,
kind of
we
like
need
the
a winner.
two-legger last week.
What's that?
I like the two-legger last week. It was simple. I mean, obviously it stunk that our first leg lost and our second leg wins, but it was a fun parlay. It had good juice.
Yeah, it was a good one, and Arkansas broke our heart, but all right. That's a good pod. We need some winning bets here. This is
Yeah.
a bounce back spot for us. It's
Yeah.
a situation play for the Pocket Jacks podcast.
The plays we're playing are in a tough travel spot. We're ice
Maybe
cold.
we maybe we need a buy.
Yeah,
Get
we
right
do need
by.
a buy. If we
Let's
both go if we go
fire
same
the
record, let's
coach.
go.
Hit the
We're
coach. Get someone else in here. We'll get a buy.
I like that. I think if we both go 1-5 again this week on the card, we should just go buy next week.
Bye week.
Yeah. Do you like that?
let's say this. If our record, there's 6 games on the card, going off the 6 games on the card. If we are not, what do you, 4-8 or better?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 4 wins. Four
Four
wins.
wins. If we don't get 4 wins as a collective bye week,
We've earned it. We're beaten, battered.
unless next week's slate's huge, then we're probably going to be back for another week, and you're
Yeah.
stuck with us.
We're gonna schedule our bye. We're gonna
In that case, fade all the plays.
get them anyways. Let's be honest.
Fade them anyways. Oh, if you made it this far, thank you. We're right at an hour. What a time.
Love you guys. Go Cougs.